Hey everybody, how are you doing? Thank you for joining my channel. We're going to talk about how the United States can actually benefit greatly by helping Aptera out. And we're going to talk about that. So let's get into this right now. Thank you for joining my channel. We're going to talk about how the United States can benefit greatly by helping Aptera out. And in the long run, they can benefit not only the whole country, but its citizens and the environment as well. We know that they've been trying to get away from oil and burning coal, especially from since they are dependent on other countries providing that oil. And ever since the 70s, we know that that has been a problem. And even now, it's causing a problem. The biggest problem, of course, is the amount of money that they are paying for oil. And it's not just the government, it's actually the tax paying citizens, you and I. And when there is a oil spill and that needs to be cleaned up, damaging to the environment is part of it. But who pays for that? Guess what? You and I are paying about $1 billion for each incident, or at least up to $1 billion. And that comes directly from the taxpayers. So there's one issue right there. What else are they doing? Well, we know that the government is also paying for at least up to 17 billion annually for subsidies to the fossil fuel industry. Once again, guess who's paying for that? It's not the government itself, it's you and I, the taxpayers. We're forking out $17 billion. So right there, there's $18 billion that's being used for the subsidies of oil or to take care of any oil producing problems that may happen on our shores. And then, of course, don't let there be a problem with the economy. You know who's going to get bailed out first. It's going to be the banks and the auto industry. And 2008 was a big situation where the auto industry got bailed out big. General Motors got up to $50 billion in bailout money. Chrysler got $12 billion. Ford got $15 billion. GMAC got $13 billion. So all that money is coming from the taxpayers. We're paying all this money out to the auto industry. And I mean, what are they doing in return? I mean, they're charging us vehicles that's so high overpriced, it's not even worth the money to buy them. So they definitely need to get away from fossil fuel. Not to mention, fossil fuel's not going to be around that much longer anyway. According to scientists, there's only about 47 years left of oil, so you're going to have to get away from using oil products or products that has to have oil. So that leaves battery powered vehicles. That is basically the future. Either way you look at it, battery powered vehicles are going to take over. ICE cars are going to disappear. And then eventually, battery powered vehicles are going to disappear as well, as material that's being used to power these vehicles will continue to change. So if they can really get away from importing oil from the Middle Eastern countries, then they could benefit greatly if they can cut ties with the Middle Eastern countries. We have one country we could talk about that is already doing that, and that is Norway. And they are breaking records, nearly completing its EV transition. Their November numbers showing more than 10,000 EVs were newly registered, bringing its tally to a truly impressive 93.6% of all new car registrations, showing that its EV transition is almost complete. So Norway is doing something very impressive here. Their November numbers saw 10,940 new EV registered. And once again, I bring out that it's showing that they are at a 93.6% of all new car registrations. So that's pretty impressive. And I'm pretty sure the United States can do that too. What helped them to make this change from ICE cars to EVs? The Norwegians achieved that goal by government incentives. Of course, the incentives have been rolled back recently due to the huge growth in EV ownership. So there you have it. You had the incentives that they encourage their citizens to buy EVs has really taken hold, and their citizens are actually buying into it. That's basically all they're buying now. And if that can happen in Norway, that can happen in the United States. We know that Tesla has basically taken most of the credit since most of the vehicles that are being sold there are the Model Y and many other electric cars. But of course, you can't drive a EV without having a charging infrastructure in place. And Norway has that as well. They have 29,473 public electric vehicle chargers. And of course, the way it's rationed out, so that comes to one high-speed charger to 100 electric cars, which is pretty good. And they're not stopping there. Norway actually has been changing their gas stations since there's no longer a need for gas. And this chart shows why, that they are actually not using gas any longer. It's dropped from 38% down to practically 5% in gas oil and diesel oil. So they're making some pretty impressive strides in cutting loose ties with the oil industry. And, they're showing the way that it can actually be done. And since they're not using the gas companies any longer, guess what? The gas stations are starting to disappear. When they close up shop, then there are several companies that are coming in. One of them is Tesla. See, they're refurbishing this gas station into an electric charging station, which many companies are starting to do now. Even Shell itself, they're turning some of their gas stations into charging stations. So once the changes start and the country starts going to electric, then everything just starts to change. It's like a snowball effect. If you're using more electricity and less oil, then the oil company's basically going to disappear while the electric company continues to grow. And that's what we're seeing in Norway. But of course, you have to start somewhere. And how does that affect Aptera? What we know that, when it's all said and done, the electric cars are basically going to take over. Like I said, that's just the next step. And Aptera is bringing something new. They're actually adding solar to their electric vehicles, which is a game changer. Another thing that they're doing is they're making their vehicles aerodynamic. Well, we're going to talk about that in the next video. This one's getting a little too long. And so to my patrons, thank you very much. You guys continue to support me. I really do appreciate that. That's what helps me get these videos out. Of course, not to mention that I love Aptera. But also, for those that do love Aptera, if you're new here, hit the like, ring the bell, subscribe, and you'll catch my new videos when they come out. But anyway, Aptera is going to do some fantastic things, and we're going to talk about that as well as what could happen in the future. All right, so you guys take care. We'll catch you later. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.